Tommy Robinson is a very good example of somebody who would do anything, and I mean anything, for a paycheck. Now, as you know, it was I want to say, I think the whatever that event was called, March for Unity. Uh, Stephen Yaxley Lennon, his real name. So Stephen Yaxley Lennon led a Unite the Rally March, which was in London, I want to say 2 or 3 months ago. And at the time, I saw the march and I said, they have a lot of people there. No question. Now, did they have nearly as many as they said that they had? Of course not. But they had a lot. They had at least 100,000, and the estimate was that they had about 200, anywhere from 100 to 200,000 was how many actually showed up, even though they were claiming that they had at least 1 million to 3 million. Kind of like how I always exaggerate my rallies and how many people actually show up. Well, apparently there was another get-together that just took place on behalf of this ideology that he's been fighting. And we all know that Tommy Boy, because that's what we're going to call him, Tommy Boy didn't have nearly as much luck. And this, of course, is coming from The Guardian. This isn't coming from just some random type of publication that perhaps wasn't even in the UK. This is coming from one that generally is regarded as conservative. So you would think that they're probably being as transparently honest as you would hope for them to be, meaning that there's probably even an overcount. It turns out that this particular event, the Christmas service event, which took place earlier today, only drew 1,000 people. That's one hell of a drop-off. And good old Tommy Boy, who was nothing more than a pawn for the Zio state in the UK. I mean, when you think about the people that get on a pedestal, therein lies the rub. Tommy Robinson will do, say, and act on behalf of the state of Israel, period. Whatever they want, whatever they need, he will do it. He will continue to prove not just how hypocritical he is, but how hypocritical the entire movement. Because remember, Tommy Robinson is a rabid anti-Muslim bigot. And it appears that this is what is being used, or what is used, to stop any type of upward mobility movement against the state of Israel through the support for Palestine. Now, Tommy Robinson is just as fake as Israel because he doesn't even use his real name. But this event, which he was anticipating would bring in a lot of people, as again, as The Guardian reports, number is stark contrast with estimated 110,000 of far-right activists Unite the Kingdom rally in September. So just a few months ago. And that's how much of a dramatic drop-off. The far-right activist Tommy Robinson led a carol concert to put Christ back into Christmas on Saturday in an event that had a huge drop-off in attendance from his last rally in London. The Metropolitan Police said that about 1,000 people attended the event at its peak, in stark contrast to the estimated 110,000 who turned up for Robinson in September. Saturday's event was kept away from a counter-protest organized by Stand Up to Racism in central London. Stand Up to Racism wrote, Robinson's event got nowhere near the big numbers he predicted today. While there is absolutely no room for complacency, it shows that Tommy Robinson's momentum can be broken. Now let's all go out to build a massive together against the far-right demo on Saturday, March the 28th. So we'll see what happens again in a few months. Robinson, whose real name is Stephen Yaxley Lennon, told the crowd he used to hate the church, but met a pastor in prison. Oh, you can't make this up. Who taught him about the Bible. Hyman sheets were handed out to the crowd, and a woman walked around selling St. George's flags and Santa hats. Before the event, the Church of England released a video on its YouTube channel in which people ranging from the Archbishop of York to school children spoke about the joy, love, and hope of Christmas. The message is a simple reminder that Christmas belongs to all of us, and everyone is welcome to celebrate. Several leaders spoke out against the dangers of Christian nationalism and the appropriation of Christian symbols to bolster the anti-migrant views of Robinson and his supporters. Rowan Williams, a former Archbishop of Canterbury, warned of the potential weaponization of events and said the Church of England must be absolutely clear that the true Christian message was one of compassion and welcome to all. Now, I'm going to stop here for a reason. Now, we all know that Tommy Robinson is a very little man in many respects, but he's open for business. And one thing I have been making abundantly clear when it comes to the Zio state, you are only as good as the last event that you hosted, the last message you put out there, the last fundraiser you completed. In the end, you will be subjected to, let's just say, a weekly check-in to make sure that whatever it is that you're doing is actually beneficial to the Zio state. Because if it isn't, you could be subjected to being ostracized, taken out. There's a lot of things that could happen. And in the case of Tommy Robinson, he's dealing with a legal problem now. And that legal problem is 6 figures deep. And apparently, he's having trouble getting the money to pay that bill. Why don't you just call up your Zio friends and have them pay it off for you? All you do is wrap yourself in the Israel flag all day, every day. Why aren't they footing the bill for you? Why aren't they stepping up? I wonder. But here's Tommy filming himself, complaining about a lawsuit of which he doesn't even know what a writ is.
I've been taken to the High Court by Jamal Hijazi. Yeah. Let me just have a look. Do you know who that is?
What, again? I've been taken there again.
Just trying to see when the date of this writ was for you. I'm driving it.
When you say writ, what does that mean?
A High Court writ, which means we're now instructed by the High Court to either collect the payment or seize your assets.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Wouldn't that just be a hoot? Tommy Robinson goes out of his way all day, every day, to support the Zio state. And in the few short months since his really incredible rally, that was a very overrated number, he apparently has major legal bills that he can't afford to pay. And it looks like he's going to lose his assets. Gee, that's a real shame, isn't it?
Okay. So, but I went, for the Jamal Hijazi stuff, I went bankrupt after that whole case. So all of that was in bankruptcy, everything.
Have you got proof of all that? Have you got any paperwork to support that?
That was 2021. So 2021, after that court case, I went bankrupt. I had a bankruptcy investigation. I've had the full investigation, everything, every penny, banks. I've been summoned into court on oath to talk about what bank accounts I have in different countries and everything. I've done it all. I've done all this. But even if you just Google, it'll come up with Tommy Robinson declared bankrupt all over the news.
All right, we'll go.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Jamal Hijazi. So that's what I've already gone through all this. They're coming back after it.
Are you surprised? Why would you be surprised? Why would you be surprised that you are nothing more than a little peon peasant, not worth your shit off your boot? You're just a means to an end. That's all you are. Snatched him out of prison, decided to make him an offer I couldn't refuse. And there it is, Tommy Robinson on his hands and knees. We've shown you the humiliation rituals that the Zios put him through to be in their good graces. Amazing what people will do for money and power. But he's so tiny that I don't think he could reach it if it was even hanging above his head. Oh, you almost got it. You got to be quicker than that. But Tommy's going to complain just a little bit more about his unfortunate situation.
They're going to do it again, isn't they? Fuck you know. Mental.
I spoke to him, so that's why I've taken so long to come back. This isn't anything to do with that. Well, this is for costs, what he's taken you to court for. The first one was awarded in October 24, and then this one was the April 25.
Oh, so this is to do with my contempt of court case that I was sent to jail for.
Right, okay, so they
That's nothing to do with Jamal then. That's nothing to do with Jamal.
Right, so all I know, this is for costs. That's what he's taking into court. That's what this case is for.
And
It's for costs.
how much are they saying I own?
At the moment, because it will increase, at the moment it's 103,000.
£103,000 for costs.
Yeah.
And this is for the contempt of court for where I played the film. Okay, about Jamal. Okay, so this is for where I played the film.
If you're not able to make payment, we just have to continue with enforcement and look at any assets that you have to seize.
Hey, man, shit happens. Why don't you give Elon a call? You know, Elon wipes his ass with 103,000 pounds every day. Why don't you just give him a call? I'm sure he'd love to help you. I mean, didn't he pep up the rally back in September? Aren't you guys British chums now? I know he's from South Africa, but you're from the UK. You kind of sound alike. Why don't you give him a call? Tommy Robinson, the most abhorrent British bloke out there. But I tell you, there's a reason why the Irish would never have anything to do with you. You're a disgrace to the UK. You ought to go and live in Israel where you belong. Although we know that Israel is not going to last very long, because much like history has shown, revolution's inevitable. That's just what I wanted to put out there. How's that? Hope you guys liked it. I don't know if we got any UK people in here, but yeah, Tommy's fallen on hard times, very hard times. He's got just a little bit more to say before we depart.
It's fine. I don't have any assets. That's the thing. I have nothing.
Yeah, so, yes, I understand you're telling us that, but we have to have proof of that.
What a pity. What a pity. Oh, he's got assets. They're just not in his name, I'm sure. Somebody else has got them. And therein lies the rub. So that's little Tommy Robinson, wondering, what are they going to do with me? That's why I said he's a disgrace to the Irish. He wraps himself in the Union Jack instead of the orange and green. Yeah, Medi's got it right. What a pity to be dumb and shitty. As I said, and I will keep saying it, and this transitions into what's happening now stateside. One moment, the Zios will love you because you do as they say. But the second you become less than useful, you're out. And there's a lot of bad that can come from that. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I try my best. But that's the lesson of Tommy Robinson. Tommy Robinson is on his way out. It couldn't be more obvious. You go from holding a major rally of at least 100,000 people, and then the next rally you host gets 1,000. That's bad. Really terrible. No way my rallies would be that small. This is the inevitable conclusion that so many others are going to suffer. This is their fate. You see what's happening to Tommy Robinson? No one in the Zio state is coming to bail his ass out. They'll just go find somebody else in the UK to get on a soapbox and tell everybody how wonderful Israel is. Why the fuck do they need him? Who's he? Who in the fuck is Tommy Robinson? Nobody, because it's a made-up name. He's as fake as Israel. That is why the two went together.